What is up, guys? Today I logged into Steam and I tried to play some Arma Reforger, but instead I was met with this update, this news post by Bohemian Interactive or Arma Reforger in general, saying Kolgayev status update or status report right up here. Kolgayev, I don't know how to say that. One thing I want to point out, in the original Operation Flashpoint Cold War Crisis or Arma Cold War Assault, the map was called Kolgajev, Kolgujev. In this update, they're changing the name of it, Kolgayev. Not quite sure why, but that's an interesting detail that I figured I'd point out to you guys right off the rip that I noticed. But here we go. It says, attention, back in November, we unveiled Kolgayev. Not Kolgajev. That is an official tweet from Arma. We got some screenshots here. Looks like painted or AI generated, I don't know, but it looks nonetheless really cool. So that's what they announced back in November of last year. Oh, here we go. I put this up for the video. Kolgayev, that's how you pronounce it. An upcoming terrain for Arma Reforger and a free edition for the community. So here it is. It's not going to be a DLC. Oh, it's going to be a DLC probably, or maybe just more of an update to the game, but it's going to be free, so that's good. It's a familiar name for longtime Arma veterans. Yes and no, because as a longtime Arma veteran myself, I knew it as a different name, spelt differently. I don't know. Maybe they corrected their grammatical errors from the past. Who knows? Now being brought back with many modern improvements. Hey, that's a good thing. We've been hard at work bringing this unique island to life, and yes, it's looking very good. Notice how they put a bold or like a more, bold statement to very good. So that's very promising from the devs. Keeping all the spirit of its predecessor, but reimagined in the Infusion engine. Just like Everon, they did a really good reimagining it, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what this new map has to bring. More than that, we're taking our time to make sure this island isn't just a backdrop, but a fully integrated terrain that supports diverse scenarios and game modes. Today, we wanted to share a few glimpses of what's bubbling beneath the surface, both literally and figuratively, right? So that's interesting. What do they have underneath the surface, right? Literally underneath the surface. All right, well, let's get into it. What's new? Autumn Breeze. One of the first things you'll notice about Kolgayev is its unique biome. It is a big shift from Everon's lush summer greenery. Well, okay, cool. Much like the original game that I remember, Kolgajev was very dull, boring, looked cold. The pine trees were just different, like they were scorched or something. You got onto the map and it just felt eerie, right? In an entirely new season, the island leans to a stark tone with its pine forest and barren mountain slopes. Okay, there we go. Expect custom autumn specific vegetation sets, from skeletal trees to dried out grasses, along with new weather presets and ambient soundscape to bring the atmosphere to life. So one thing that I remember from the original game, playing Kolgajev, like the sound, you hear roaring winds, like you just feel cold. You feel like you're literally in no man's land of territory. Like nobody lives there. It's like when you're there, you feel alone. It's like a weird, eerie feeling you get. So that would be cool if they brought that back. If they brought even like animals such as wolves howling and even NPC wolves in the mountains up there, that would be pretty cool. Like packs of wolves that maybe it would bring some more dynamic gameplay. So you're in a PvP mission and you're just up there doing some type of objective, maybe a radio tower that might be up there or something, and a pack of wolves attack you. That would be pretty cool, I think. But we'll see what the devs do with it. So it's coming together to create an immersive sandbox for players and terrain makers alike. So yeah, so it looks like to me they're probably going to add more assets to the game for the Infusion workbench for the modders and map makers to work off of, have more options available, and stuff like that. So I'm gonna look at this picture, and what I notice is special forces. So in the original game, Kolgajev was like a special forces sandbox. Like there was a lot of special forces missions made on Kolgajev. But one thing I do want to point out is Tiger Stripe camo, 100% special forces, boonie hat, special forces, these cold weather caps as they call it in the military, definitely special forces. The patrol cap, that's more of an officer role, so maybe an officer in the special forces. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I don't know if this is a face back here. It's so hard for me to tell. But maybe potentially ghillie suits. Maybe they'll put ghillie suits in there. I don't know. That's just something that I noticed. Hidden beauty. Beneath the island's dormant volcanic peaks lies a network of bubbling hot springs, steaming fumaroles. I don't even know what fumaroles is. Vents in the Earth's surface typically found near volcanoes or geothermal areas that release steam and volcanic gases. All right, so more volcano stuff, right? And winding streams. So just like I guess Everon, they're adding streams. That's cool. But the biggest thing is the bubbling hot springs. Okay, that's going to add some dynamicy to the gameplay. If you per se fall into these hot springs, do you die? Do you lose health? Like, what happens?
Dipping her foot and her fingers in that water, then running away yelling.
So I'd like to see that in the Arma engine, or maybe you're going to be fine. I don't know. But that's cool that there's going to be just more dynamicy added to the maps in general. I mean, that's good for both the map and the people who want to play the map, and that's good for the mod and map makers in the modding community. While there is a lot to explore in Kogayev's volcanic landscape, these geothermal features bring a cold, rugged character to the mostly abandoned taiga terrain. So there we go. We got the terrain type, the biome, taiga. Taiga is like a Alaskan type feel to it, with mountainous terrain, snow-peaked mountains, streams, and just pine trees all around. It's really beautiful. And also what comes with taiga, that comes with the animals like the wolves and bears and stuff like that too. So like I said, it would be really cool to see that, not only for PvP modes, but PvPvE, such as like the DayZ mod. So that would be very cool. It'd be very cool to see this map in the DayZ mod. I also want to point out that up here is a mountain. So this mountain has been in the map since the early 2000s, since the first game ever came out. But are they going to make this mountain into a volcano? That would be really cool too. I mean, maybe we can all fight a big battle on top of a volcano in Arma Reforger one day. I think that would be very cool to see. But also, I want to point out new camouflage patterns for the Russians. So another thing I want to point out is that the cities are going to be built and livable, it looks like, with new coastal lines, and much like they did with Everon, they're going to build a lot of the coastal areas up with seawalls and possibly piers, I don't know. But in the original Cold War assault, all these towns, literally every single town, was destroyed. It looked like the best way I could put Kolgajev in Operation Flashpoint was it looked like a Russian nuclear test island, quite literally, with the scorched trees and the destroyed buildings, and the only buildings that were intact were military bases. So that would be interesting to see. Moving on, coal mining. So it looks like we finally get a story to what Kolgajev is, or Kolgayev. So it says the island's industrial past plays a significant role in its layouts and story. Scattered across the terrain are long abandoned coal mines. Cool. So it was a mining island. So it gives a little bit more context to what we're playing on. So it says it's going to have cranes, rail tracks, and conveyor infrastructure, leave behind a once thrilling, I think they're supposed to say left behind a once thriving operation that ferried coal to waiting transport ships. Okay, so maybe we're going to get a new asset pack like cargo ships and you know, ferries, and even mechanics that come along with that. That'd be pretty cool to see. Now, these industrial remnants offer great opportunities for unique gameplay or simply exploring the remains of a forgotten era. Who knows? You might even venture to find some interesting underground secrets. That is a huge little tidbit of information right there, because obviously if there's mining operations going on, there's going to be some tunnels, right? So it'd be really cool to see if there's like complicated tunnel system that's underneath the map itself that would add dynamic flanks or routes or tunnel warfare or something to the gameplay. I think that would be so neat. But we'll see. If you want to see an update for when this map releases of the tunnel systems, you might want to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell notification, because I'm probably going to be the first one to release that, because I am super stoked about this one. So going into the picture, I see maybe new skins for some of the Russian vehicles. Like I said, camouflage, different camouflage patterns, obviously to fit the biome. A huge crane for coal mining operations. That's pretty cool. It looks like this goes into a huge mine shaft, so that'd be pretty interesting to be able to snipe from these areas, or even just have some close quarter combat in this area. So we'll see. Super exciting stuff. All right, so additional content. This one's pretty cool. While the terrain itself is shaping up to be stunning, we also want to offer more than just splendid views. When Kogiyev is released, players can look forward to their favorite official game modes and maybe even something new. All right, so the devs are hinting to a new type of gameplay. If you look at the Arma Reforger roadmap, obviously they have some stuff that they are still going to implement into the game. One of these being the electrical system, where you can interfere with base's electricity by sabotaging these sites. I don't know how they're going to do it, but also restoring these sites to restore power and radio signal or whatever case may be to your base. Or I think that maybe potentially, and this is all speculation, with the industrial assets coming to Kogiyev, such as the mining and stuff, maybe they're going to add a power plant. Maybe those power plants will be points to take and sabotage, and maybe points to retake to restore. I think that would be something cool to see inside this update also. But also we're going to get conflict updates, so building modes where we can build bases anywhere, and a HQ role, kind of like Hell Let Loose and Squad, where a player can take the role of the commander. So maybe all this will be implemented into this update. Maybe the map will be released and then maybe it will be implemented later. I don't know. We'll see. It's all speculation on my end. So looking at the picture, you see again, there's some new rocket launchers. Of course, the camouflage patterns are here again, and it looks like some ruins, castle ruins, and those destroyed buildings that I was talking about earlier look like they still might be here. But also in the back, I noticed a radio tower with some type of maybe destroyed satellite dishes back there. I'm not 100% sure, but maybe this will be a point we could take, kind of like what do they call it, Radio Hill and Arland or something, where we can go and disrupt enemy communications by taking the tower, and whichever side has that tower is side with the advantage. All right, so the last point, it's on the way. Of course, there's still plenty we're keeping under wraps, so there's so much more that these guys are promising to us, which is awesome. No one likes all the surprises spoiled early. 100% correct. But trust us when we say, and they put emphasis by underlining this, we're pouring our hearts into this. That's so refreshing to see. We're making sure everything feels just right. Whether you're a mission maker, modder, or just someone who loves getting lost in new terrain, there's a lot to look forward to. Thank you for your support as always, and we can't wait to show you more in the future. Stay tuned. So that's a big promise from the devs. That's good to hear. So let's dive into this picture. So what I see is more special forces operators. Like I said, I could tell by the tiger stripe camo, which was very prevalent and around the Cold War era for special forces guys. The boonie hat was another very prevalent thing. I mean, you look at any old Navy SEAL picture and that's what they're wearing, is the boonie hat right here. The cold weather cap is what we call it in the military, special forces. And we also see a boonie hat with a bayonet sticking into the tree as kind of like maybe a showcase to the modders, like maybe more features for prop placement in the future. Who knows? But this really reminds me of these old missions on Kogiyev where the special forces go in and, you know, disrupt military operations on the Russian side. So maybe they're bringing a single player mission to that. I don't know. I'd like to see it. But that's pretty much my dive into this. I'm super excited for this update. Like I said, it will bring some amazing nostalgia back from 20 years ago when I played this game, and hopefully it'll bring some new experiences for you guys who haven't played the original Arma. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do enjoy these types of videos, I invite you to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification so you can be notified when I do upload update videos such as this. But I appreciate you guys watching. Until next time.